Isaiah 1 and 9, except the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahushai Bahashim, Rekakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders, a great millstone, for teaching us the 100% truth according to the Bible, and who rule well. Shalom to all Joachim and Yuakwa, those of the hopeful elect that are seeking for salvation. And we know destruction is coming, and we got to remember that the Lord will preserve a remnant, meaning the elect. There will be an elect that will be saved out of this destruction that is being lined up for specifically Babylon the Great, aka America, right? Just one of where the greatest destruction to ever take place in history is about to happen. Thermonuclear destruction to desolate the land of America, and the elect is going to be saved out of it. And you're going to have the elect that's going to be redeemed from other parts of the earth as well. Now, as I open up with Isaiah 1 and 9, says, except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. And we know about what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities when the Lord rained fire and brimstone for the lewdness, the wickedness, the perversion, the freakism that was going on, during that time. He preserved Lot and his family. Of course, we know Lot's wife looked back, and she was turned into a pillar of salt. But the point is, throughout history, the Lord has always preserved a remnant and, during a time of destruction. Remember the flood? Let me get 1 Peter. Let me see. 1 Peter 3, and I'll start at verse 18. 1 Peter 3 and 18 says, for Hamashiach also have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to the Most High, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. Verse 19, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. Verse 20, which sometime were disobedient, when once the long suffering of Yahweh waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls, were saved by water. The Lord preserved 8 souls during that time. That was the elect of that time during the flood. So in these times, you're going to see that the Lord is going to reserve and redeem the elect, the 1/3, the 144,000 men that makes up the governing body. And then you're going to have the remaining men, women, and children of the elect that's chosen. And when you read Zechariah 13 and 8, this is a beautiful thing to know, man, that the Lord is going to reserve, redeem a chosen. And, we call ourselves the hopeful elect. We're doing what the elect will be doing in these times. Okay, we have to endure. Zechariah 13 and 8 says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, and that land is speaking of Babylon the Great, which is known as America, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. So that the 2 parts, which makes up 2/3, is going to be destroyed from the plagues. And the ultimate plague is the thermonuclear destruction. So the Lord is going to cleanse the earth and get rid of all of the wicked Israelites and destroy the heathens in his land. All right. Whatever heathens is left over outside of America is going to be preserved for slavery. All right. From your elite banking families, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the whoever you can think of from the elite banking families are going to be preserved, that are going to be hiding in those underground bunkers in other countries, preserved for slavery. Okay, but speaking of these 2/3 is going to be cut off and die, they're not a part of that remnant. They're not going to survive the destruction the Lord has awaiting. All right, it says, but the third shall be left therein. That elect is going to be survivors of this destruction that the Lord is bringing from famine, from these FEMA camps, from diseases, from Yahweh's return with fire, and ultimately, again, the nuclear destruction. Verse 9 says, and I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined and will try them as gold is tried. So the hopeful elect, as we call ourselves, as we're fighting and on this journey to being a part of the elect, we're going through trials and tribulations, tests, experiences, growth, hardships, sufferings. All these things is refining us and making us better servants to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And what don't kill you make you stronger. That's ultimately what the elect is going to experience and make us better, Lord willing, part of the number. Make us better, for these times is up and coming. I always say we weren't, the majority of us probably weren't ready during the time of the C-19 when those, people were saying that this could have been the time, of the Lord's return, which we know it wasn't because the mark of the beast wasn't implemented. All right. However, that was the Lord shaking us up, telling us to get right, to get ready and get right for the times that he's bringing. Okay. So that's a part of the refining process and going through it, hardships and experiences, growth. Right. It says they shall call on my name. And that's right. So we're going to have the names in these times because the names is what is going to be used to receive salvation. And as we come back to our nationality, a part of fearing the Lord. How can you truly fear the Lord without knowing his name? How can you truly serve the Lord without knowing his name? So we're coming back to our nationality, and our nationality is led by the true names. Right. It says, and I will hear them. And I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. Okay, so if you're saying, if you believe Zechariah 13:8, we're in the times of Zechariah 13:8, all right, then you would know that we would have those names. Okay, we would have those names, just like in Baruch, as it says, they're going to fear the Lord and call upon his name. But nevertheless, we're seeing that as the Lord has always promised and came through, for that remnant, he's going to do it in these times as well. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Bible. The Lord is going to preserve his chosen seed line to be the first fruits in the kingdom. Now, Isaiah 10:20 says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more stay upon him that smote them. So as we had to go to the enemy and the one of all things, pursuant to the curses the Lord put on us, now we see that the remnant is now got the names back, fearing the Lord, serving the Lord, and putting our trust in the Lord, hoping that we endure into the end. Because now we're coming in times where we're getting in order. Everything is starting to shape up and get in order. All the Israelites that don't want to get in order, the Lord's going to rid them, and they'll come back in the kingdom through the loins of the first fruits, the elect. Okay, so the remnant, the hopeful elect, is getting the mentality of trusting in the Lord and going to the Lord for everything, not the enemy. It says, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more stay upon him that smote them. Right, no more going to the oppressor, no more trusting in oppressors' idols and religion, false religions. We're trusting in the true and living power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But shall stay upon the Lord, right, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. I'm going to read that in the NLT. It says, Isaiah 10:20, in that day, the remnant left in Israel, the survivors in the house of Jacob, right, those that's part of the elect is going to survive this destruction because the Lord is going to preserve the elect. It says, will no longer depend on, not instead of allies, because they're going off, okay, no longer depend on the oppressor who seek to destroy them, but they will faithfully trust the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. Verse 21 says, a remnant will return. Yes, the remnant of Jacob will return to the mighty power. And you see that transition or that process happen during the time of Lot, during the time of Noah, right? Even when the Lord set up Abraham to be the father of many nations, he separated Abraham from his father. Abraham, his father, they were worshiping idols over there in Mesopotamia. The Lord was lining things up, setting things up in order, to give the promise unto Abraham, okay, Isaac and Jacob, that seed line, that chosen seed line. All right, so we're living in some great times. This is a time to really be thankful and continue to, and I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, to continue to push, do the work of the Lord in sincerity, because this is it, man. Let me bring out this last scripture and I'm going to close out. Let's see. I always forget this scripture. Well, no, I don't forget it, but I forget where it's located. But here it is right here. Ecclesiasticus, Sirach 23 and 27 says, and they that remain, remember the survivors, that remnant, shall know that there is nothing better than the fear of the Lord, and that there is nothing sweeter than to take heed unto the commandments of the Lord. The survivors, those who survive through the destruction and gets beamed up in the chariot with Yahushua right before the nuclear destruction takes place, are going to know that there is nothing better, even during the process of leading up to that. Having food when everyone else is starving out, having your sanity when everyone else is bugging out, having the brotherhood, having the names, man, that understand that there's nothing better to fear the Lord, right? And nothing better than to take heed and obey Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua, right? So we are in some great times, man, as we see, Order Ab KO is taking place. These devils are pushing, on the left-hand side. That's the Lord doing this, though, all by design. And ultimately, this movie is going to play out where the survivors, right, the elect is going to be preserved. And Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua is going to make that happen. And there's no way it's not going to happen. We just want to be a part of that number, man. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua.